What do you think is the holy grail for a UA manager or team? What may they currently be missing from their toolkit?
If I had unlimited budget, no, I mean, core principles. I think a UA manager sort of needs to be comfortable handling data, and what I mean by that, but this is something where one sort of needs to be able to analyze trends, to be really able to ask the right kind of questions, have a logical mindset, being able to form hypotheses and approach things quite logically, and not get put down if experiments or these hypotheses don't really give a good kind of result. It's someone who takes the learnings, write down what's occurred, and then try sort of the next step. Obviously it's great if someone can sort of write SQL and pull out the data for their end. That's a nice thing to have, but I wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary. And myself, I can't write SQL worth anything, but I think being able to sort of understand and write and ask the right questions from that mindset is super important. And also something really important, and I think this is something that is really low-hanging fruit, is the communication part and being able to have good relations across different departments. This means someone who can sort of comfortably speak and understand the language from the different kind of stakeholders in the company. That could be the BI team, it could be the live ops team, it could be the product guys, it could be the creative folks. Sometimes there's a specific role in there that acts kind of like an in-between for those teams, but if it doesn't exist, I think, and even it does exist, it still behooves people to be able to speak in the same language as these folks. Definitely organization is super important. I think there's always needs to be some sort of mini kind of project manager, making sure that things are ongoing, and if there's any blockages, that the person is able to get the help that they sort of require to get things through. And I think it doesn't hurt to have a creative touch. Not every UA manager necessarily needs this. They don't have to have a background in art by all any means, but they sort of need to be able to think a little bit more abstractly on the motivations and messages of the product and creatives, and being able to drive into sort of the primal kind of motivations for the game, for the videos, the banners that we use, and that's really kind of helpful to always have that more creative side to sort of balance out the more data-driven mindset that I think most UA managers are kind of leaning towards. And I think I've been really blessed and lucky that I was always able to work on a team where honesty and transparency were front and center. For myself personally, if someone makes a mistake, I would rather work with them and try to find a solution rather than, if they just try to hide it and try to fix it without my knowledge. I think having a good team dynamic means being able to approach people for problems. I think a really big sign of maturity is being able to admit when you're stuck or when you don't know, because we're human beings and we're limited by what we're able to do. And there's nothing sort of wrong to be able to kind of depend on each other, as a team. Granted, one should also be sure that they're constantly learning and constantly taking these lessons to heart. But it's super, super important, I feel, that a UA manager, a UA team is able to sort of have that kind of relationship. And most importantly for me, it should be fun. Honestly, if you're not having fun doing UA, I mean, seriously consider whether it's because of the environment that you find yourself in, or maybe it's not something that you really kind of like. Because if you're going to spend 8 hours every day or more doing something, it should at least be something a little rewarding, or at least you should enjoy the people around you. So seriously consider trying to make these things as rewarding, as fun as it can be. And I think those would be kind of the most important things in my mind